baby, how was school today?
Mom, these kids at school kept making fun of me and they kept calling my hair nappy. Why, Mom?
Tootie, look, just read this book and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
There's another N-word we throw around in and out of the black community called nappy. We have taken that word like the other N-word, nigger, and made it a word of adornment. I have heard the word nappy my entire life, which was used to insult, degrade, and hurt someone. This word is a derogatory term that was used in our ancestors to insult people.
Available now.
I love myself.
Same tree, different brand.
I hope you love yourself, because love is only love when you love somebody else.
What's going on with everybody, man? It's your boy Sean P in the place to be. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we're live. We're about to get it in. You see the title, An Aboriginal's Nightmare. You see the back. It's murder from the Maasai. We're gonna call it murder from the Maasai today. Because we're going to continue to play their game, right? Lookership, images, pictures, observation. Since they can't see the evolutionary process or how the evidence for out of Africa exists, we're going to play their game. We're going to stay right here in the Americas. And we're going to observe. We're going to use our eyes. Well, not necessarily, but necessarily. We're going to understand the Abo argument. Maybe not. Anyway, hit the like button, share the show, tell a friend we're live. I don't know who else is live. That's cool. Someone else is live. I don't know. But we're about to get into some real business. Since they like to do the lookership thing, and then they like to assume certain things. Well, we're going to understand what we're looking at. You see how you can see my face? We're going to understand what we're looking at. Who are the people that we're looking at that been here? Okay? And what does the evidence say? And what scientific data suggests? But until then,
what hair looks like after slavery. Transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade by the European changes everything for Central and West Africans. Let's briefly talk about the transatlantic slave trade. The Portuguese and later the English, the French, and the Dutch got involved in enslaving Africans in large parts of West Africa, the Gulf Coast of Guyana, and the Congo River Basin were significant areas of human exports to the Americas, mostly to sugar plantations in the Caribbean. By the late 17th century, the so-called triangle trade developed. European ships loaded with guns, textiles, tobacco, and manufacturing goods sailed to Africa slave ports and traded those goods for captives. European slave traders then took those Africans to the New World where they were sold. With that money, the European purchased staples such as sugar, tobacco, rum, and coffee, then sold for enormous profits back in Europe. The profits was often reinvested in other goods to be traded for captives back in Africa and so on. If you want more in-depth information on the transatlantic slave trade, I recommend you read Hugh Thomas' book titled The Slave Trade. the story of the Atlantic slave trade 1440 through 1870. This is a thick book, roughly 912 pages, and worth sacrificing some of your time to read. The book is almost the same price as a supersized combo from a fast food restaurant, destroying the image of African hair. Europeans who had traded and communicated with Africans knew the complexity and the significance of black hair. They were often struck by the various hairstyles that they saw within each community. In an effort to dehumanize and break the African spirit, Europeans shaved the heads of enslaved Africans upon arrival to the Americas. This was not merely a random act, but a symbolic removal of African culture. The shaving of the hair represents the removal of any trace of African identity and further acts to dehumanize.
I wish I had my gun right beside me because I'll cock it back right at that particular juncture. So look, listen, man. Let's get right into the bill. People who late, just catch the replay. I don't want to hold up nobody else's time. First thing first, I'll pop up. Yeah, y'all thought I was going to do a big verse. All right, so we on the screen with it. Let me make it a little bit bigger, see if it gets bigger. There you go. So we're taking a look at the evolution of human skin and skin pigmentation. What you see is a constant. But this comes from the University of Penn, and we're going to deal with what we need to deal with specifically. So research on the evolution of skin color in humans was avoided by scientists for many years. Skin color is worthy of scientific investigation. However, because it is the product of over 5 million years of evolution in the human lineage, it is the most obvious characteristic in which people vary in their appearance, and it is of great social importance. Our research on the evolution of human skin and skin color has demonstrated the skin color in the product of natural selection, acting to regulate levels of melanin pigment in the skin relative to the levels of ultraviolet radiation in the environment. Melanin is a natural sunscreen that prevents the breakdown of certain essential biomedicals, in particular the B vitamin, folate, and the DNA, while permitting enough UV to enter the skin to promote the production of essential vitamin D. So this is my opening argument, okay? We opening this thing up. Large family of studies in the areas, the evolution of human skin and skin pigmentation, including the effects of skin pigmentation on health and human social well-being, is conducted by Nina Jablonski, George Chaplin, Hassan Yushin, and Tess Wilson, along with collaborators from the medical and social sciences from many institutions, including Penn State. One of the body of studies is to focus on understanding the interplay of biological and cultural forces in the evolution of skin pigmentation, and in exploring the relationships between skin pigmentation and thermoregulation in collaboration with Larry Kinney and Tony Wolff. Another large group of studies is focused in exploring the relationships between skin color and race, including how colors have come to the pervasive and enduring meaning beyond just denoting color. Public education and outreach activities about pigmentation and its implications for health and human social well-being, including lectures and writing books for the general public, are conducted regularly by Jablonski and other members of the lab. So I want to show some of this video, but I'm going to drop it in the chat for you to watch it on your own merit. It's only a minute.
We are obsessed with visual appearance. What is unusual is that we put value judgments on what we see. A lot of my research is to educate that we are not human races. We are one people of different color. Nature's way of coping with ultraviolet radiation is to put a natural sunscreen between the inside of your body and the sun. Groups that start living outside of the tropics actually lose some of their pigmentation. Races have never existed in nature. They were formulated by people who had opinions and very few facts. We need to dig deep into that historical fallacy and tear it out by the roots.
All right, so that's a little synopsis. If you have not actually watched her lecture, you should go watch Dr. Blonsky's lecture on the subject matter to get more familiar with the essence of what is, or what we know today as, the skin color. So then we're going to move on to the genetic variant tells the story of skin color. And I want to introduce to you all this gene, actually. So I'm not going to read it. I'm going to play it and just follow along. It's not that long, but hopefully, you know, for the ultra slow, this is good enough for you. Everybody should know where my sources are located in the description of the video, and I provide all information. I don't duck, no smoke. Oh man, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Student. No, I don't. All right, hold on. 1 minute and I forget. Hey, go on and smash the like button, man. Share it to your compadres. We know how y'all get down. Halito to the pseudo Indians out there.
A research team at the University College London, UCL, Genetics Institute has conducted a genome-wide association study, GWAS, that provides novel insight into the evolution of variety in human skin color. The study, published in the journal Nature Communications, analyzed pigmentation in a population of more than 6,000 Latin American volunteers, who have a mix of Native American, European and African ancestry. Features such as skin color are among the most prominently observed traits in humans, and show a huge diversity, so we were interested in studying their genetic basis to see how they evolved, explains Kaustu Badikari, joint first author, UCL Genetics Institute. There are many studies of pigmentation in Western Europeans and white Americans, but very few in other ethnicities such as Latin American. For each volunteer, the level of melanin in the skin was quantified using a reflectance spectrophotometer, and a high-quality photograph was taken to measure the color of the eyes. The scientists discovered a variation in the gene MFSD12 that is linked to lighter skin color. Notably, the genetic variant that we discovered is almost exclusively present in East Asians and Native Americans but absent everywhere else, adds Javier Mendoza Revilla, joint first author, UCL Genetics Institute. The researchers are the first to link the MFSD12 gene to skin color in Native Americans and East Asians. In doing so, they unearthed new information regarding the voyages of ancient ancestors almost 40,000 years ago. The fact that this novel genetic variant is shared among Native Americans and East Asians suggests that it was likely carried from Asia to the American continent through migrations of the first Native Americans, states Adikari. Our finding also provides further support that the fair skin complexion that we see in Europeans and East Asians today arose independently through different genetic mechanisms. An illustration of the key findings of the GWAS study. Credit, University College London Institute of Genetics. In addition to shining light on the events of the past, the outcome of the GWAS study may have significant implications for the future skin cancer research. The biological process leading to human pigmentation plays an important role in the effects of sun exposure and ultraviolet absorption, as well as skin cancer. It is therefore not surprising that several genetic variants that are involved in pigmentation have been linked with a predisposition for various skin cancers, comments Andres Ruiz Linares, professor of human genetics at the Genetics, Evolution and Environment, GE, department at UCL. This study is part of an international collaboration from researchers in Latin America and the UK, and Adhikari states that the next steps of the project are already in progress. We are currently working with a team of geneticists from Fudan University in China to evaluate whether the novel genetic variant identified in Latin Americans also has an effect on skin color in Asia. On a separate venture, as part of the Consortium for the Analysis of the Diversity and Evolution of Latin America, CANDILA, project founded almost 10 years ago, the research team will conduct further association studies to elucidate the genetic basis of other physical appearance traits. Kaustubh Adhikari was speaking to Molly Campbell, science writer for Technology Networks. Reference, Adhikari et al. 2019. Aguas in Latin Americans highlights the convergent evolution of lighter skin pigmentation in Eurasia. Nature Communications, dx.doi.org.
All right, so there you have it with that source. I am walking you through the entire skin color argument. So for those of you who are very unfamiliar with the skin gene, that is with the gene that is associated with skin color, I want to go ahead and tell you right now. The science says that at first they thought that the Latin Americans inherited it from Europeans, which is false. They actually carried it with them through their evolutionary process into the New World with their migration into the New World. So in this article right here, it's going to give you the gene variant. I want to go ahead and give you the gene variant first. And then I'm going to read some of the article. So here's the gene variant. These fools trying to give me, man, I don't need nothing. I just knocked all of that down. I ain't got none of them issues. Y'all could have kept this opportunity to yourself. Oh, y'all want my home. No, no, no. All right, so this is the variant right here. The gene MFSD12. All right. The new MFSD12 variant, however, is associated with lighter skin and might instead enhance the gene's expression. All right, so that just lets you know where we are with this science, right? So look, walk down a busy street in most Latin American cities today and you'll see a palette of skin colors from dark brown to sepia to cream. For 500 years, people have assumed this variation comes from the meeting and mixing of Native Americans, Europeans, and Africans during colonial times and later. People with lighter skin are thought to have more European ancestry, whereas those with darker skin are taken to have more Native American or African ancestry and are often targeted for discrimination. Now, in a new study of genes of more than 6,000 people from 5 Latin American countries undercuts the simplistic racial assumptions often made from skin color. An international team discovered a new genetic variant associated with lighter skin found only in Native Americans and East Asian populations. That means that in Latin America, lighter skin can reflect Native American as well as European ancestry. It is really important to study, especially because the little genetic research has been done on Latin American populations, says human geneticist Sarah Tishkoff of the University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine. Most work on the skin pigmentation genes has been done on Europeans, where ironically we don't see a lot of variation, she says. One of the last frontiers has been, what about East Asians and Native Americans? Latin America is a fertile ground for such studies. People there often have Native American, European, and African ancestors, and because Native American populations are closely related to those of East Asia, research can also spot East Asian variants in Latin American genomes. You get in one place the genetic variation from 4 different continents. I'll run it back to you. In Latin America, you get 4 genetic variations. You get 4, genetic variations because of the continents everybody from. So, he and Javier Mendoza Revilla, a geneticist at the Pasteur Institute in Paris, analyzed the genomes of 6,357 people from Brazil, Colombia, Chile, Mexico, Peru, collected by the Consortium for the Analysis of Diversity and Evolution of Latin America, which is the name Candela. You heard Candela in the last source. Candela is a research project, right? The consortium also measures how much light reflected off participants' skin, a way of gauging their levels of dark pigment melanin that allowed Hikari and Mendoza Revilla to look for genetic variants linked to skin tone. Ladies and gentlemen, I just mentioned this earlier. One variant was the MFSD12. Tishkoff recently linked reduced expression of this gene with darker skin in Africans. The new MFSD12 variant, however, is associated with lighter skin and might instead enhance the gene's expression. At Hikari and Mendoza Revilla report this week in the Nature's Communications, when they looked for the variant in other populations, they found it only in Native Americans and East Asians. Beep, 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 beep. Gotta run it back. To all the people out there who claim to be indigenous, the A1s, the Aboriginal powers, the smoke signals, the root words, and I'm gonna bring this up if I got time, if I want to make fun of you. But I see that you ain't been in the chat and you real quiet, and that's real rap. You said some very disgusting things that somebody clipped and sent to me. And it's starting to make a little sense how bothered you really are as a human being. But none of these people who claim to have always been in the Americas wouldn't express this particular gene, because this could only be found in the Native American and East Asian populations. So the new variant sheds light on genes underlying pale skin in East Asia. People at high altitudes in Europe and East Asia seem to have independently evolved lighter skin to produce vitamin D more efficiently with less sunlight, says Nina Jablonski. A biological anthropologist at Pennsylvania State University and University Park. But people have been scratching their heads about which variants do this in East Asians. Now, researchers know MFSD12 is one. So, there must be more, right? The ancestors of Native Americans presumably carried that variant over the Bering Strait into the Americas. There were variations in skin tone present in Latin America long before Europeans got here. The larger lesson, says geneticist Andrew Ruiz Linares of Fudan University in Shanghai, China, chair of the Candela, is the pitfalls of the Eurocentric view. Our study shows that ongoing beyond Europeans, one can find additional genes, even for well-studied traits. Clearly, the bias toward Europeans has led to a restricted view of human diversity. Just coming with the smoke, right? I'm gonna show you how to do a real smoke signal smoke. So again, just to reiterate what the last article is saying and what was saying and what's being argued here. Walk down a busy street. Y'all just read it. Walk down a busy street, Latin American cities today, you'll see a pale skin. All of this is the same information. This is just reiterated. Okay. In the capsule, so I ain't gonna bore you to death with that. But I am gonna take you here. And I'm not going to get into the entirety of the particular article, but I am going to give you the abstract. This is the Native American genetic ancestry and pigmentation allele contributions to skin color in the Caribbean population. This is being Caribbean specific. Watch these genes pop up. Some of y'all already can tell. Y'all been cheating. But our interest in the genetic basis of skin color variation between populations led us to seek a Native American population with genetically African admixture but low frequency of European light skin alleles. Analysis of 458 genomes from individuals residing in the Kalinago territory in the Commonwealth Dominica showed approximately 55% Native American, 32% African, 12% European genetic ancestry. The highest Native American genetic ancestry among Caribbean populations to date. Skin pigmentation ranged from 20 to 80 melanin units, averaging 46. 3 albino individuals were determined to be homozygous for a causative multinucleotide polymorphism, or the OCA2, which contained within the haplogroup of African origin. Its allele frequency was 0.03, and a single allele effect size was -8 melanin units. Derived allele frequencies of the SL24A5, that's the white skin tone, and the SL45A2 were 0.14 and 0.06, with single allele effective size of -6 and 4, respectively. Native American genetic ancestry by itself reduced pigmentation by more than 20 melanin units. The responsible hypopigmenting genetic variants remain to be identified, since none of the published polymorphisms predict in the prior literature to affect skin color in Native Americans caused detectable hypopigmentation in the Kalinago. So you can go on in the study and you can read some more dealing with the genes and the genotypes and what the study actually produced. But I like to have a little fun, right? So I want to talk about Smoke Signal's favorite word, right? The one that he agrees with. This is the one he agrees with. Adaptation and co-adaptation of skin pigmentation and vitamin D genes in Native Americans. One more time. Adaptation and co-adaptation of skin pigmentation and vitamin D genes in Native Americans. What are you doing, friend? Take a test? All right. So here we go. We carried out an exhaustive review regarding human skin color variations and how much it may be related to vitamin D metabolism and other photosynthesis molecules. We discussed evolutionary contexts that modulate this variability and hypotheses postulated and explained them. For example, a small amount of melanin in the skin facilitates vitamin D production, making it advantageous to have fair skin in an environment with little radiation incident. In contrast, more melanin protects foliate from degradation in an environment with a high incidence of radiation. Some Native American populations have a skin color at odds with what would be expected for the amount of radiation in the environment in which they live, a finding challenging the so-called vitamin D folate hypothesis. Since food is also a source of vitamin D, dietary habits should also be considered. Here, we argue that a gene network approach provides tools to explain the phenomenon, since it indicates potential alleles co-evolving in a compensatory way. We identified alleles of vitamin D metabolism and pigmentation pathways segregated together, but in different proportions, in agriculturalists and hunter-gatherers. Finally, we highlight how an evolutionary approach can be useful to understand current topics of medical interests. You can get in there and you can get to a lot of the information there. But now I want to be fun. I want to have my fun right now. I want to have my fun because The race shifting of Pretendians is why we're here today. I'm walking y'all down this pathway of skin pigmentation to give you a simple gene which was carried by these people, right? They brought with them into the Americas this gene. This gene was specific to determine in their skin color. They possess this gene. If we were to do a DNA test on those who don't agree with DNA, we won't find in certain areas none of the genes that I've discussed in the last 48 hours. Not the cheekbone, not the not the nose, not the jawbone, not the lips. We will not find this in these people that want to be, that we're calling, not want to be, but that we're calling Pretendians. So let me make sure y'all can hear this.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Subaru and the 2023 Subaru Forester, featuring standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and award-winning safety technology. The SUV for all you love. Learn more at Subaru.com.
The number of people who identify as Native American on the U.S. Census has soared in recent years by 86% from 2010 to 2020. That is a much bigger jump than can be explained by birth rates alone. It's totally clear that a lot of people who are claiming Native status now did not before, which raises concerns in Native communities about why people are doing this and what it means for their own identities. Sam Yellowhorse Kessler from NPR's Code Switch podcast explains.
Joey Clift is a comedian. He's an enrolled member of the Catz Indian tribe, and because he's indigenous, he finds himself in a lot of conversations like this.
A friend of mine was posting on Facebook about a protest against the Washington, D.C. NFL team a few years ago, and somebody commented on the post saying something to the effect of, like, I just got my DNA test in the mail, and it turns out I'm 1/16th Indian, and I think the team name is fine. So everybody lay off.
So what did Joey do? He made a short film about this sort of thing called
Telling People You're Native American When You're Not Native is a lot like telling a bear you're a bear when you're not a bear.
The title is 24 words long. It's basically a Fiona Apple album title of short film titles. It's an animated comedy short about a lot of just like weird microaggressions that like Native folks run into in day-to-day life.
If you tell a bear you're 1/16th bear, but you don't know what kind of bear, and you've never bothered to research your bear culture, and yet you think you have more right to an opinion about bear issues than the actual bear standing in front of you, you're going to get mauled by that bear.
Practically every Native American has run into someone like this who says that they got a DNA test to prove they're indigenous, or that they have a distant ancestor who was supposedly a Cherokee princess. And there are words for people like this: Pretendians or wannabes. High-profile instances that come to mind are Elizabeth Warren, who claimed Cherokee identity but has since apologized for doing so, or Andrea Smith, an academic who also claimed Cherokee identity but could not provide proof of her enrollment in the tribe. She claims her Native identity is legitimate. And that's not even mentioning people playing Indian on screen.
I, too, seek the Wendigo, Butch Cavendish. I was prisoner on the train, the way Coyote stalks buffalo.
Most people will tell you that race is deeper than skin color or blood ties. Joey Clift describes it like a spectrum, where he sees some people as indisputably Indian on one end and complete fakes on the other.
But then there's definitely like a gray area in the middle of people who maybe are involved in the culture, are Native biologically, but are not an enrolled member of a tribe for various reasons. Maybe there are people who are Native but don't speak their tribal language, like myself. There are people of all different skin tones that are authentically Native.
According to the census, the Native American population in the U.S. has grown from 552,000 in 1960 to 9.7 million in 2020, a growth of over 1,600%. Cersei Sturm is a professor of anthropology at UT Austin. She wrote a book about the subject called Becoming Indian. She lays out a few possible reasons that more people are claiming Indigenous identity who didn't previously. One possibility that's not so sinister is that Native people who once felt pressured to pass as white don't feel that way anymore, and the census reflects that. The other possibility, people who lean on that distant ancestry or that DNA test and claim a tribal affiliation, even if they've never identified that way before.
I never ran into anyone where I felt like they were overtly lying, and fabricating this in order to get something, right? It doesn't seem to be that instrumental. I think that most of the people who are engaged in this process of claiming think that they are reclaiming.
So why do people want to be Native? Sturm says that many of these race shifters, as she calls them, cited spirituality as an important factor.
So everything that they associate with, white life as being like modern and alienated and not having culture, right? These things that are associated with whiteness, the near opposite is what they're finding in indigeneity, which is that it's culturally rich and it's being part of a community and there's a spiritual foundation to it.
Kim Tallbear, professor at the University of Alberta and author of the book Native American DNA, agrees, though she adds another possible explanation.
I think there is a deep desire to disown complicity in the settler project. I think people don't want to feel the historical guilt for living on stolen land. And I'm not saying they are obviously or explicitly thinking these things. I think a lot of this stuff is subconscious.
Tallbear says that when Pretendians rise through the ranks as thought leaders and spokespeople for Indigenous communities, they produce knowledge and artwork that is not based on lived experience as Indigenous people, as tricky to define as that is. And she says that all of this is essentially an extension of colonialism.
They stole our children. They stole our land. Now they have stolen our representations, cultural artifacts. They stole Indigenous bones and blood to do scientific research on them. All of these things are entangled.
Now, keep in mind, practices in the US and Canada, like Indian boarding schools and the adoption of Native children out to non-Native families, often complicate Indigenous identity. So that leaves some individuals in a difficult spot. People who have an ambiguous relationship to a tribe and want to identify as Indigenous, but wonder if they can do so in a way that is honest with themselves and others, and in a way that won't make them Pretendians.
I mean, I was encouraged to embrace it. Nobody told me to, maybe take 5-10 years to ask questions and explore and kind of observe.
Justin Brake is a Canadian journalist who wrote about his struggle to connect with his First Nation roots. He only learned of his Mi'kmaq ancestry in his mid-20s, during a time when applications for tribal enrollment for a new band of the Mi'kmaq opened up. His family applied, and he got his acceptance letter in the mail soon after.
It's embarrassing for me to say now that I had no frame of reference, no understanding of the significance politically, culturally, historically of what was happening and what I was bound up in. However, I guess I was thinking critically or skeptically enough to say that I'm not 100% comfortable with this.
So he set out to learn about Mi'kmaq history and culture, to figure out where he stands in relation to all that. He started going to powwows and building friendships with members of the community, some of whom were on the same journey he was. And he had honest conversations about his identity and his relationship with Mi'kmaq culture. It wasn't easy. It required him to seriously consider whether he could, in good conscience, call himself Indigenous.
But at some point I had to accept that if I'm being 100% honest with myself, if I'm really looking for answers here, I have to accept the possibility that I'm going to land on, no, I'm not Mi'kmaq, and no, I don't have a right to claim a Mi'kmaq identity.
Through this process, Justin learned that the individual identity is not what's important. And he says he didn't want to be a part of what he calls the epitome of white privilege, of claiming Indigenous identity when it's convenient for him.
That's very dangerous, and it's not something that I'm interested in being a part of. But I do have compassion because every family and every community story is different. And I know that there are a lot of people like me who never want to do any harm and who are bound up in the exact same struggle and journey of questioning.
A journey that for many is ongoing. Sam Yellowhorse Kessler, NPR News.
So I just wanted to lay all of that out there to you. Again, I introduced you to the gene. that traveled, right, across the Beringer. I'm going to put it back in there again. MFSD12. That's why they don't want to do DNA tests, right? They don't want to do DNA tests because of this gene that I just put in the chat, and then the 3 genes that I mentioned 2 days ago doesn't prove their identity. So when they want to use lookership, right? Look like could be the eyes don't deceive. Oh, I agree with adaptation. I don't agree with evolution. Whatever the junk that they're spewing. These genes exist in Native American populations, whether you're in North America, Central America, or South America. So if you've been here, then you possess the same genes. If you say that you don't possess those genes and you've still been here, then as I've been asking all of you, so you are a different species, right? And if you are a different species, we have to identify who you are. Because you shouldn't be able to mate with other Homo sapiens sapiens. There was no contact here. If you are of the belief that humans are 250 to 300 million years old and was a part of one continent called Pangea, and before Pangea broke up, people just start hopping on different continents as Pangea spread, and then that's how people got here. You have a belief. There's no scientific evidence that exists that says that Homo sapiens sapien, wise man, is older than the 300,000 years of evidence that we have. So stop the bull jump. Now, I made this short. I went through 5 sources, but it's short, 45 minutes, because I really want to bring something to y'all attention. Now, I know not a coincidence. I don't know if you're going to go live, and I don't want to steal your thunder. And I do want to allow you an opportunity to do your breakdown and recap. So I'm not going to get into specifics because I'm not playing that video at all. I would never, not on this, I would never play that video over here. So, and you know, I'm not even going to listen to it. So if I'm tuned into your channel and you just so happen to be playing this video, then guess what, my brother? That'll be the first time that I will be hearing it live. And then I could be addressing some of the things that you probably already have an ear on. However, I want to share 2 clips with the audience. And this is fun times. Fun times to be African, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to tell you why. One of them didn't pull up. It should have been from the same clip. So let's see.
Whatever my African brothers and sisters are, I'm from the motherland. All right, I'm sure I have ancestry from the motherland. I just tell y'all, America is the grandmotherland. All right.
Confused, like what? So what are you? Because you said you're
yeah. We want to hear your rules. We want you to prove your thing through your rules. Let's go ahead. Let's see if you shoot up. Let's see.
Number one, I'm whatever my African brothers and sisters are. I'm from the motherland. All right. I'm sure I have ancestry from the motherland. I just tell y'all, America is the grandmotherland. All right.
Confused, like what? So what are you? Because you said you're
yeah. We want to hear your rules. We want you to prove your thing through your rules. Let's go ahead. Let's see if you shoot up. Let's see.
Number one, I'm whatever my African brothers and sisters are. I'm from the motherland. All right. I'm sure I have ancestry from the motherland. I just tell y'all, America is the grandmotherland. All right.
Confused like what's.
All right. So real quick, there was another video that I wanted to play, but it looked like either that video was shut down. Either the video was shut down or it got reported, and I'm pretty sure the latter happened. Someone was reporting the hell out of the video because in a clip last night, this same dude, Real Rare, made some very egregious. Well, the video is shown that he had made some very egregious comments about his sexuality and men body parts and exits and all of that. That's pretty suspect. However, I want to focus on what was said here, though. He claimed to be from the motherland. But as the conversation continued to go, he started calling Africa the motherland, America the grandmotherland. How the fuck could America be the grandmotherland when life started on the continent? But this goes to also show that the dear brother is confused about his identity because he continues to play this game. He's one way over here, he's one way somewhere else. Oh no, I'm not playing anything, Sutek. I'm playing your clip. This is from you. This is the clip that you sent. You see your name right there. I ain't playing no video from that dude. You get credit for this. You get credit for your video clip. I don't share nothing from that channel. I don't tune into that channel. And I'm not. I give two fucks about that channel. Y'all can go entertain yourself with that stupid shit over there. I'm not. Like I stated, if Not a Coincidence plays this back, it'll be the first time that I hear that shit. I do not go looking for it. But you posted this. This is you. And I'm both of your views. Because you only put this in one particular area. All right, so that's that on that. The other clip, like I said, is blocked. But he continues to make these fallacious claims, and then he tries to duck them on a wider range or a wider audience. And for some apparent reason, the dude whose show it is continues to let stupid people get on his panel to entertain other people and their ignorance. There ain't no smoke over there. How you gonna see some smoke? Ain't no smoke on that channel. But again, the dude is confused. And not to see, I'm not going to be nice to him the next time if he's on your panel and I'm on your panel. Because like I said he was doing the other day when we was clearing all of that stuff up and he was ducking trying to give me that $100, admitting to it. He was being disingenuous. So yeah. We back on that. I don't care about his $20 he sent. Man, A1, he's pseudo. Pseudo, bro. Jesus said Mexico, Garden of Eden, and Jesus, whoever that is crazy. What was the other comment? Real rap got to get it together. And the Jesus dude was all over the place. There was several people on that panel that also have been on Garfield's panel. And one of them is the Amin Ra guy. And he don't tune in over here. He don't tune in over here. But I think he's from the South. I don't know if he's in Tennessee or somewhere else. I do know that he's from the Bible Belt. His name is Amin Ra. He says he was named Amin Ra, but he's a Christian. And he likes to listen to entertain the whole Aboriginal argument as well. Now, some stuff that he listens to, and then there's other things that he tries to dismiss. But again, you can't fool me. I think he's a fence straddler. Callie, Thomas is always around, bro. He usually comment after the videos, though. What up, Desmond? Yeah, he gotta walk. He gotta do that, bro. He gotta walk that plank. Ain't no more. Yeah, ain't no nice guy nothing. If he don't understand something, we know why he don't. Cause he fighting his pseudoisms. He won't allow the evidence to straighten him out. And then shot one says this. We don't believe. You gotta what you have to realize, Sha, is that what we're talking about does not require a belief. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Is a car real? Is a car real, or do you believe a car is real? One more time. Is a car real? Or do you believe a car is real? How the fuck can it be both? Do you own a car? Or you ride a bus? Or you take a taxi? Or you Uber, which is going to be a car? Digest that. All right, so a car is real, motherfucker. Like I was saying. So now that we've established that the car is real, we don't have to believe that the car is real. We know it. We know it. With the evolutionary process, the hominids, etc., we have evidence. We don't need to believe. We have the evidence. We have the evidence of the hominids, them being dated, each stage of hominids, that process that transpired. We have that evidence. The fuck is we need to believe for? You're too religious. You sounded like a Christian. Sutek, where that video at? Put that video on the chat so I can pull it up. You know the one, the creationist and the yeah. Put that in the chat. We're gonna listen to Shy One real quick. I see Hebrew Israelites are claiming to be indigenous. I don't care. They whatever. They need to. They so anti-African. They don't want to be African. A lot of them don't. Appreciate that. Learn to dig 2 pits. Appreciate that, my brother. Bill Nye. I think it was Nye. It was the creationist and the it was the one you put in the back check. What up, EIE? So Shy, you gotta stop saying belief. When we talking about evidence, brother, there's no way that the belief can come in there. It is if it becomes a belief, right? The moment that something has been insinuated as a belief, then it's no longer talking about the natural world. Or they could be talking about the natural world and just not representing the evidence correctly. So let me see if I can get this. So what y'all want to do? You want to believe or you want to know? I'm curious. Do you want to believe or do you want to know? The names are the names, bro. We don't care nothing about the names. The evidence still exists. We can name them. We can name them Shaquina, Shaquanta, Melanesia, Boomashita. It don't matter. It still represents something in that line that transpires that we have evidence for. We gotta do all of that. Well, these boys want my money bad. Shut up, Tyson. Ain't no worry you should be breathing hard. So, what's Smoke Signal at? He was here yesterday. He ain't like how that science was getting kicked. He don't like that science. Oh, Catz said he was behind. Oh, no problem. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm about to pull this. First of all, before I pull that up, let me pull this up real quick. In case y'all ain't checked this shit out.
Brother, it's my sword. Yeah, right. We're gonna go back into the other article, right? And once again, we have another person put emphasis on all humans share large amounts of DNA, which means individual ancestry tests can't reliably trace your genetics very far without other evidence, right? Genealogy tracking has become big business. Now we have another company, another website or scientific website or someone who deals with science or biology, right? We hear another one of them pointing that out before they even get into whether or not this shit is real or fake. They're already telling you that what the genetic companies are basically advertising it for, right? They're trying to get some money. They're trying to get some money, my dude. And that's what happening. We already see that this shit is pseudoscience. We already got too many articles. We already heard too many other scientists. We already heard the works when it comes to DNA. So you should never let nobody present DNA to you as if it's absolute. It can't trace you to no ancestry land. So if it can't trace you to no ancestry land and your ass been here for 400 fucking years, there's no way that they can trace you to Niger, Cameroon, Ghana. No.
He's a liar. You disgust me. How can you live with yourself? You sit on a throne of lies.
Talk about me. What's up? What you want to talk about?
Listen, my man. All right. So look. Let's make some sense out of this, right? So through a 3-hour presentation, right? Everything that I presented was fake. You could debunk everything I presented.
I can debunk the way you tried to present it. You took a lot of shit out of context. You cherry-picked a lot of shit. And your final conclusion, what you trying...
Did I cross-reference? Do I not show more than...
Hold on. What you trying to present to the people, your conclusion is totally off. But go ahead.
All right, so I just want to ask one question. I'm going to ask one question to everybody on the panel. Everybody on the panel, I'm going to ask one question. Is DNA absolute?
Hell no. Look, Look.
Yes.
I'm
asking anybody up there, and I'm being I'm being sincere about it. Is DNA absolute? Yes or no? Is it absolute? Yes or no? Is it absolute? Yes or no?
It absolutely works. Now look, hold on.
So you niggas are saying, wait, I want to be clear. I'm trying to process this information, not do like y'all niggas do.
Check this out.
I'm trying
gonna
to
show you
process it.
No, you asked the question. I'm gonna answer your question. Watch this.
I'm asking you a question, brother.
You can
Is
ask the
DNA
question
absolute? Yes or no?
You can answer.
You showing one of 5 different, brother. All scientists.
Look, brother. Let me show you what your problem is. It could take 2 seconds. You use this source. It's from 2013. You're trying to use this to discredit DNA, which is bullshit. Because even in your source, it's
so in 2013. So in 2013, when niggas was taking DNA tests, is this information credible?
Read it.
No, I'm not reading nothing, brother. It's my source. I'm not reading. I'm not reading nothing. I'm not reading.
Your source, listen, your source says with the advanced testing, you can provide a general ancestry indication, i.e. Northeastern, Western Africa, or Middle Eastern, and in some cases, even more specific, said David Nichols, director of the DNA Worldwide Group to BBC News. This is your source.
Is DNA absolute? Yes or no?
When your conclusions is way off, just because you read something word for word, that don't mean you're not taking the shit out of context. You dead wrong, nigga. That's why you got the fuck up out of it, because you don't want to answer this question.
He left. Yep.
Where did he go?
He ran.
He left because his source killed him. And I was getting ready to tell him. I said, "What happened? What? Yeah, he ran. Of course he ran.
He left again?
Because what happened? He left again. He left again because he don't want to have to deal with his own source. And on top of that, too, science has also gathered far more samples since his article. This is ridiculous, bro.
And the more samples makes it more accurate. That's it.
I don't
Forensic
trust
uses
science
too.
methodology. I don't
Look,
trust
this
it.
is so I don't know. We hear you. So I don't know where these dudes get it from. So this is what Ancestry claims. It says with current technology, like we keep trying to tell them, current technology, Ancestry DNA has on average an accuracy rate of over 99% for each marker tested. How much, so when we say, yeah, they're accurate, is it absolute? Is it absolute? Is it absolute? Like, what the fuck does that even mean, man? Like, you want to know if it's 100%? Like, what the fuck? It's 99%. Like,
Yeah, because it's not 100%, but that's about as close to 100% as you can get.
People that just come up here need to see that. They need to see an African, and they need to see an Indian, and they need to see the debate so they could choose a side. Not a coincidence is a major factor in this community, and people don't even know it. Goofy motherfuckers.
So there you have it. Not a C. What is upload? Now let me get to this other thing real quick. That's how stupid they are, man. I mean, they make a claim, right? And then we gotta walk down that claim. And after we walk down their claim, we refute their claim, and then them mugs get to running. Now I want to show y'all just a little bitty piece of shy. Y'all gotta rock with me on this now. Making fun of my brother in the chat. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay? And I want y'all to pick up on some of the signs.
We are all apes.
That's correct.
Where's your proof that we are all apes?
What is an ape?
Right. What is the ape?
Right. An ape is any member of the taxonomic superfamily Hominoidea.
Amazing. Have you ever seen a human being turn into you ever seen an ape? Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Have I ever seen a dog turn into a dachshund?
No. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Have I ever seen a car turn into a Corvette?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Have I ever seen a shark turn into a fish?
I didn't ask about any of those things. I asked, when have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
I'm trying to illustrate the fallacy of your question.
How's that fallacy? You wrote that we're all ape. You must have.
And we are.
You
And
must
that book,
have at some point all these hundreds of
right,
thousands
the proof
of
is in there.
years. At some
That
point,
book is,
you would have seen if an ape turned into a human being. Have you ever seen?
If y'all haven't determined yet, right? If you haven't determined this yet, this is shy. This is where the science coming from, and I hate that the science is coming from over here. But this is shy. This him the whole argument. Just listen. I'm gonna give you like 2 more minutes.
An ape turned into a human being.
Once again, humans are apes in the same way that a duck is a bird. So if you ask me if I've ever seen a bird turn into a duck, that's kind of a stupid question.
Because I didn't ask that. I didn't ask that. I asked you. I asked you. Ask. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
That is a nonsense question.
Why?
Because it's like asking for a place halfway between Los Angeles and California.
No, it's not. I didn't ask about that.
I know. Well, you don't know what you asked.
I do know. You wrote this book called "We Are All Apes,"
and it gives the proof
I'm
in
asking,
the book.
have you personally seen a human being, an ape turn into a human being?
It would be impossible for a human being to be anything other than an ape, for the same reason that it is impossible for a dachshund to be anything but a dog. Have you ever seen a dog turn into a dachshund?
Why are you running from that question?
I'm not. I'm answering the
running.
question. I'm illustrating.
No,
what's
you're
wrong with the
running.
question.
You're running from that question. You wrote this book that
I'm
we are
facing
apes.
you head on, answering your question directly.
No, you're not.
Humans are a subset of the category of apes.
I didn't ask you that.
We
I
start
asked
out
you
apes.
how
We can't. So therefore, it makes no sense to.
He doesn't understand the ignorance is being displayed right here. So I'm gonna give you another 28 seconds.
Ask how the parent category turns into the subcategory. It is exactly the same as asking if I've ever seen a bird turn into a duck. Do you understand why your question? Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck? How about I ask you that?
But that
question?
wasn't the question.
But that's the same question, isn't it?
You wrote the book said we
fallacy.
are. You tried to divert. You tried to deviate from the question. And you wrote a book called "We Are All Apes." And so how can you write a book that says we're all ape when you've never seen an ape turn into a human being?
Have you ever seen a duck turn into a? Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck?
Why are you dodging the question, man?
I'm not.
Hold on, time. I'm seeing something stupid in the chat. So Shah says, Sutek, if you think they are not insinuating that they are dominant, you are bugging. They're not insinuating that they are dominant because the motherfuckers who discovered that all species on the continent of Africa dispelled any dominance, right? Any dominance. Yeah, they're dominant in their climate, right? Because their skin tone requires them to be dominant in that space, in cool climates. But at the moment that they leave that cool climate and they come to the equator or below, or even above, right up slightly above the equator, that dominant gene that they possess now becomes recessive because of the what? Climate. They have to adapt. And in that adaptation, they can't. And they are subject to all kinds of cancers and all kinds of other shit. So no. The science never says that they are insinuating that they are dominant. The evolutionary process would never say that. See, that's where you got to go back to. We not meeting because you just said what you said, though, Shah. They're not saying that, bro. Let me listen. Let me get back to the video. I'm gonna give you another. I said 28 seconds. Let me give you a little bit more. This is Shad in chat right now. This is what he doing.
Not dodging the question. I'm answering it.
No, you're not.
Can
it's like
a
when I
duck-
asked you if you love a Christian, you went
And I
all
answered
around.
that question.
I asked you where you going. You tell me where you been.
And I answered your question directly.
No, you didn't. You're not answering
Yes,
this
I
one.
did.
So one
You don't
more time
understand
with
what
that,
the
and then
word
we have to.
Shaw think ain't nobody answering this question, and we are, and he's still like, nah, you didn't. He doing it right now in the chat.
Move
means.
on.
You don't
Have
understand
you
what
ever
the word
seen
ape
an
means. That's
ape?
why I'm trying to explain it to you.
Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Okay, let's look at that. What does the word ape mean? That means a bipedal hominoid with a certain number of hair follicles, with a certain type of teeth, with fingerprints and fingernails. That means all of these descriptive features that we share. Have I ever seen us turn into us?
You just use the word, but you're not making sense because I do
know,
want to
because
know.
you don't know anything at all about taxonomy
Okay.
whatsoever. So how can I
So
explain
you're not able to
taxonomy
answer that
somebody
question.
who doesn't know anything about it?
All
So
right,
you understand that the word
all right, I can't play no more. I can't take it. Shaw. There's no such thing as a pure human. Doesn't exist. There's no such thing as 100% African, brother. And we can listen. There's not an African on a continent that's 100%. Fathom that. If they took a DNA test of the darkest Africans over there in the continent, that you won't see 100%. You don't even see 100% European. I want you to digest that. Stop telling us what you heard. Tell us what you know. Golly, boy, you tripping. The largest population will absorb the smaller population as well. Yes. So like in the terms of abos, if they came here 10,000 years ago, they would have been absorbed into the population as well as adapted to the climate. That is correct. Yo, look, we here to help you, Sha. The whole chat is on your side, brother. Your brothers in science is over here like, yo, Sha, quit tripping. Just stop arguing with abos. It's rubbing off on you. You are allowing the abos, right? Hit the damn like button, man. What the fuck going on? Y'all can't like the damn stream? Like the stream, bro, for real. Shaw in the chat, he going green eggs and listen, bro. Listen. I don't want to change the topic of the conversation, right? Hunk Finn says, I'm probably the closest in here, both parents Nigerian, but I'm sure down the line there was some mix. Hunk Finn, you won't be 100%. You might be about 90, 92. But 100? And there ain't no such thing as the original man either. Learn to dig. Two Pit says, I ain't on his side. He on his own. Facts. They have abandoned Shot. Shot, you on your own, brother. Khalil crazy. Look what Khalil says in this argument. And I apologize for those of you who will be watching the replay of this video and doesn't understand, but we do have the live chat comments. So you should be able to watch this video and click the live chat to follow along what the hell is going on right now in the chat. The meat and the potatoes of this particular build is really over. Right now, we're just trying to get Sha back on the side of understanding the evolutionary process and what we have evidence for and how it is not a belief. But he wants to continue to be like old boy on that show, The Fallen State, and go crazy. So while he doing that, I'm gonna do this. This dude sitting over here just looking at me like I'm crazy because I was beating on the table, y'all. I'm gonna get him up. But listen, man, listen. F the old match. We don't want that culture. Nothing against the old match. I'm just saying. We got our own rich history that we should be proud of. Pure Black is tripping. Yeah, that's a dumbass question. How can apes turn into apes? He hit him back with his own logic, though. He says, how can a human turn into how can a human turn into a human? He hit him back with his own logic. I've never seen humans turn into humans. You never seen the ape turn into a human, and I never seen a human turn into a human. In medical practices, they cut out the infection in order to save the limb. Uh-oh. He going somewhere with this. He going somewhere with this. What you trying to say is these people are infected. We need to cut. We need to. Hey, we need to cut out the infection to save the limb. Which means that we gotta do what we gotta do, elbows. Y'all want to be some shit y'all ain't. Y'all want to hijack Thomas and them culture. Then you want to sell it back to them. Now you got Shaw getting beat up over evolution another day. You got a lot going on right now, elbows. We just walked down 4 genes that are specifically indigenous to the populations of people that are here that you don't possess. And that's why you scared of DNA and all the other stuff. And that's why y'all don't want to have no real deal conversation with evidence. That's why when y'all present your arguments and debates, you go back and look at it. So hold up real quick. Where not a C at? Where you at not a C? Not a C, where you at? Don't be getting quiet because Shy ain't here going crazy again. You don't want to be associated with Shy. Where you at, not a C? Don't worry about it. I'm on your channel. You want to have, you can have it all you want. You can act like you're working. We know you ain't working. We know you're trying to roll up. Watch this, y'all. Let me show you what I'm talking about when we having conversations with these people, right? I want to show y'all something. And if y'all can't recognize this shit off the back, off the cusp, right? If you can't recognize this off the cusp, I really feel bad for you. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but what I do want to do, right, is I want to be able to allow y'all to really, really analyze. Even with the Rob Horn situation, there's a consistency with all of these dudes. I don't care if it's A1, top cat. I don't care who it is. Whoever they think is their top scholar, it ain't no damn such thing as a top scholar among them, right? Because none of them have any written work that has been published and put out to be scrutinized. No articles, no journals, no nothing. They don't produce shit. YouTube videos, that's the only thing they produce. 8-hour YouTube videos consistently. So they can't be scholars. So let's get that shit straight. And if anyone thinks that there's a fucking such thing as an Aboriginal scholar, show me their fucking body of work.
We're gonna start off.
All right, I'm gonna start the time now.
We're gonna start off with what we
Round
know
one.
thus far, right?
This is a debate, ladies and gentlemen. This is a replay of the debate. Abos versus African Americans. Was black people in America before 1492? One more time. Was black people in America before 1492? This dude, this is a debate. He pulls up a source from, and he's going with Walter Ashby Plecker from 1861 to 1947. The research question again, was black people in America before 1492? Let me put this shit in the chat, because I don't think that y'all understand when these are the same people who talk about methodology and saying this word over and over and annoying the hell out of me, knowing that they ain't got no damn methodology. So he has 8 minutes to argue for his opening argument to show us evidence that black people were here in the Americas, and the first damn thing he do is bring up Walter Ashby Plecker.
Round one.
That can pretty much conclude to, definitely evidence of these people misleading us, you know what I'm saying, from the time that they started anything with any certification or live birth certification, live birth. We find these people putting whatever classifications on these documentations as they want, right? And then we find out that these people are part of a government society. They're not independent people. These people actually work for the government, and you'll find out that it's not just one individual that plotted and planned to do this. This was a well organized plan for them to basically disfranchise and also reclassify us according to the terminologies that was going to take us away from our land and from our culture and our history and et cetera, right? So we got this fictitious character right here, right? Everybody know about him, right? We've been hearing about him for years. You've seen memes and
how the fuck is he fictitious if he's got a birth date and a death date? How is he fictitious? But more importantly, what is the relevance of this particular person as regarding was black people in America before 1492? This is what I mean about these dudes, whether it's Aboriginal Power, A1, Top Cat, I don't give a fuck. Phoenix Moon, I don't give a damn who it is. None of these people have a methodology that can do anything. Look, it's Google the whole entire time. It's Google the whole entire time. They ain't even there to educate the people. He's squandering an opportunity. He's 2 minutes into a debate, and he ain't even firstly. Let me teach y'all some shit real quick. And I know y'all fake ass Indians is listening. I know y'all listening. So let me teach you some shit. If the research question is, was black people in America before 1492? The first thing that you have to establish in a debate is you have to define who are the black people. Once you've defined who the black people are, the next thing you have to do is you have to go out and answer the research question. Black people here in America. Was the people that you just defined as black here in the Americas? And you do that by using primary evidence. If the date was 1492, you couldn't be like, look, black people arrived here in the Americas, yada, 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 yada. You never addressed the research question. We're 2 minutes into your bill, and you ain't even defined who the fuck black people are. You ain't defined black people. So that's error number one. And then error number two is you introduce us to a white person named Walter Ashby Plecker, which has nothing to do with was black people in America before 1492. Your evidence should be able to answer the research question. That would mean you would need examples and primary evidence and examples of Black people, which you defined originally, being in the Americas before 1492. So if you said Black people are indigenous to the Americas, or if whatever definition of Black you came up with, and I'm just making up one. Black denotes the skin tone of a people who is indigenous to the Americas and have been here since yada, 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 if that dictionary entry ever existed. And then you come out of that and says, now, here we have evidence of a Black civilization that arose in X, Y, and Z date. And then you show the Black people that you just defined. If those people do not support the definition you provided, you can't use those people. You got to go in a whole different direction. Now you could be like, all right, so the first example of Black people, which I just defined being in the Americas, right? The Black people still being in the Americas is here. We have the writings of such and such telling us that these Black people were here in the Americas during this time period, or whatever primary evidence that you have. If you have chroniclers, if you have all kinds of shit, you can't take a picture and then try to infuse that picture into your definition. It's not going to work. You're gonna look like a fool among real scholars. Now you might pass that shit off to Aboriginals, but you're gonna look like a fucking fool. So you never started this debate off properly. Not you, not Aboriginal power, not root words, not that dumb dude from Michigan. None of the stuff that I've seen where y'all talk to Lucky and Not a Coincidence. None of y'all have ever presented a solid argument in regard to the research question and what and the debate topic. Period. Point blank. You niggas is stupid. And I'm supposed to be patient, calm, and quiet, and allow y'all to F history up and present invalid arguments to us. And I'm supposed to be patient and quiet and while y'all are doing this dumb shit. Y'all are making me feel stupid. And I'm supposed to be quiet. I don't want to feel stupid. So I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to talk the entire time. That's why I don't go on y'all panel. Because y'all some dummies. You don't read. So tell us, Autonomous One, or whoever the fuck you is, A1, what relevance did Walter Ashby Plecker have to do with was Black people in America before 1492?
All this shit, right? But let's get into it a little bit. We just gonna kind of go into it. We all know who he was. You know, he was a Virginia State Register of Vital Statistics. He served from 1912 to 1946. He was a staunch promoter of eugenics, a discredited movement aimed at scientifically proving white racial superiority, and thereby justifying the marginalization of non-white people. Employing Virginia's Act to preserve racial integrity in 1924, Plecker effectively separated Virginia citizens into two simplified racial categories, white and colored, right? So let's go down right here, right? Because I only got a couple minutes, so I got to kind of run through what I got, right? All right, employing Virginia Act to preserve racial integrity. Plecker effectively separated. We read that the law, which remained in effect until 1967, when it was overturned by the United States Supreme Court. And everybody know this case right here, Loving versus Virginia. It was with the Aboriginal woman and with the European, I guess, or Slavic gentleman, as we say. It said required that a racial description for every person to be recorded at birth, while criminalizing marriages between whites and non-whites. Plecker policies use a deceptive scientific evidence to deem blacks lesser class of human beings. He said, but they also target poor whites and anyone he or other eugenicists considered feeble-minded, right? Now we know by all means we wasn't feeble-minded because we see um all of the inventions and all the technology. But anyway, right? It's saying certain that Virginia Indians were in fact mixed blood Negroes, right? Plecker also pressured, you said, state agencies into.
Okay, so if this is all you're reading and this is your actual premise of your argument, and you're asserting, right? You're asserting here based on these words: Plecker's policy used deceptive scientific evidence to deem blacks as lesser class of human beings, but they also targeted poor whites and anyone of the eugenics considered feeble-minded, asserting that Virginia Islanders were in fact mixed-blooded Negroes. So now you have to deal with the Virginia Indians were in fact mixed-blooded Negroes. So what does that mean? That means it says Plecker also pressured state agencies to reclassify Indians as colored. None of this answers the research question. Was black people in America before 1492? Was black people in America before 1492? None of this has anything to do with before 1492. This has everything to do with, ladies and gentlemen, let me show y'all again. He shows you the date right here. 1861 to 1497. Are you slow or are you stupid? This is what I mean. This is a clear case of being of playing on, of playing on my intelligence. Why am I so passionate about this? Because the research question is, was black people in America before 1492? And this mofo brings up Walter Ashby Plecker, who was born in 1861 and died in 1947. How the fuck can Walter Ashby Plecker have relevance and credence in answering if black people were in America before 1492? How, Sway? How? He ain't even helping answer the research question. You're insinuating something that ain't got shit to do with the debate topic. And y'all sit over there and talk that whole methodology shit and talk science and say you got this and got that. Oh, I got the clips where you booted me off the channel because I asked you a scientific question. Oh, I got the clips. And y'all buy this bullshit. What is wrong with y'all? I know what's wrong with y'all. That's why I be saying what I be saying. See, y'all get high, smoke the good weed, and y'all can tolerate this bullshit. There's no way that I can, in my right mind, in my right mind, can I fathom to listen to a motherfucker pull up a source of a person that was born in 1847, in 1861, dies in 1947, and that's even trying to answer the research question. What the hell? What relevance? Right? You got to go back to the Columbus letters, right? And any other chronicler or adventurer prior to Christopher Columbus, because that's your aim. Your aim is to predate Christopher Columbus. So you would need a chronicler and someone sailing prior to him that can answer your research question. Instead, you got us up here listening to some pseudoscience. Eugenics is a pseudoscience. No one uses this bullshit. Well, I apologize. The NOI, but yeah, affiliated with black people, the NOI. But come on, man, it's pseudo.
Over this, right? So it said eugenics and white supremacy. During the 1920s, Walter Plecker became an advocate of the pseudoscientific claims of eugenics. The word coined in 1883 by Francis Galton, your boy, right? And who else? Charles Darwin. Yup.
Pause. Once again, the research question is, was black people here? Again, the debate topic is, was black people in America before 1492? What the fuck does Darwin and Plecker have to do, and Francis Galton? Let me clear some up. What the fuck does Francis Galton and Walter Plecker got to do with answering the research question? Because you bring Charles Darwin's name up, but Charles Darwin is not even associated with eugenics and the whole white supremacy bullshit. Because here's what it says in this statement. During the 1920s, Plecker became an advocate of the pseudo. It tells you. During the 1920s, Walter Plecker became an advocate of the pseudoscientific claims of eugenics. Who became an advocate of the pseudoscientific claims of eugenics, ladies and gentlemen? This is where reading comprehension comes in. He didn't even read this shit before debating, not a coincidence. He wasn't reading this shit. He wouldn't have put this shit on the screen. He put a pseudoscientific advocate on the screen. Has nothing to do with answering the research question of 1492 of if black people was here in the Americas. I keep saying that because it's the fact that they have poor research methodology. They don't have reading comprehension. But here's the funny part. The word coined in 1883 by Francis Galton. So in 1883, Francis Galton, who was the cousin of Charles Darwin, coined the phrase. So how the fuck does Charles Darwin get into this shit if his cousin coins a phrase, a name? But listen to what this dumb mofo says.
Pseudoscientific claims of eugenics. The word coined in 1883 by Francis Galton, your boy, right? And who else? Charles Darwin, your other boy, right?
Look, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna play it one more time. Not a coincidence. I didn't see how you didn't clip this shit up, bro. I know you listening. I know you listening. You got your baby in your arms. I know you listening. I know you're not in the car getting high right now, nigga. Now ain't the time to get high. Listen. Put the weed down, Sutek. Lucky. Not a coincidence. Julanda, put the weed down. Put your blunt down. Put your joint down. Put down the bong. Put the edible down. Listen. He just made Charles Darwin a candidate of eugenics. Listen to him again.
What would he be doing hanging out with these? This was something that I found very interesting, right? This little article right here. I don't think nobody ever goes over this, right? So it said eugenics and white supremacy. During the 1920s, Walter Plecker became an advocate of the pseudoscientific claims of eugenics. The word coined in 1883 by Francis Galton, your boy, right? And who else? Charles Darwin.
That shit don't say in Charles Darwin. That shit don't say Francis Galton and Charles Darwin. He missed the whole cousin word. He missed. I don't even give a fuck if he called him a white supremacist. I don't give a fuck. He missed the whole word, yo. Y'all talk about reading comprehension? It clearly says the word coined in 1883 by Francis Galton, a cousin of Charles Darwin. This mofo, listen, man, how y'all didn't catch this shit is beyond me. But this dude cannot read.
Pseudoscientific claims of eugenics. The word coined in 1883 by Francis Galton, your boy, right? And who else? Charles Darwin, your other boy, right? What would he be doing hanging out with these individuals, right? What you think this guy right here, you think like these individuals right here are all part of secret societies and all this other shit. I ain't
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
I got 3 minutes, man. God damn. All right, let me get with it. All right, so Charles Darwin, it said mean well born.
And this nigga gonna keep reading this bullshit. This has nothing to do with the debate topic. Nothing to do with the debate topic. And he just lied on Charles Darwin, right? He just lied on Charles Darwin. He made the whole shit up. Sutek trying to give him a pass and say he meant to do that. But you, Sutek, and I know that no, that's a part of his reading comprehension. You saying he did the shit on purpose. No, motherfucker, he ain't do that shit on purpose. He really thought cousin meant Charles. He really thought that it insinuated that Charles and Dalton and Galton created this shit. He said it. He just said, why would Plecker be hanging out with Galton and Charles Darwin? When the paragraph, it ain't nothing but 2 sentences. We 2 sentences, y'all. 2 sentences into this fucking article. And this nigga making errors. Excuse me. I'm trying to listen. Listen, kids, if y'all are listening to this, this is what stupidity does to me. Right? It bothers me to the 10th degree. And my passion comes out. I be wanting to control it at times, but sometimes I just can't when it's this stupid. This is a level of stupidity that is unbeknownst to me. And this is consistent with everything that goes on over there. Very consistent. It doesn't say that Charles Darwin hung out with Galton or Plecker, or ever insinuates that Plecker hung out with Galton. All it says is that Plecker was an advocate of pseudoscientific claims of eugenics, which was a word that was coined by Francis Galton in 1883. Who is Francis Galton? Well, he's the cousin of Charles Darwin. That's it. So just to make it clear, there's no insinuation. Oh, Charles Darwin cousin Galton. Yeah, the dude who came up with the whole eugenics name. Yeah, Plecker took that shit and ran with it in 1920. That was some pseudo shit. Oh, okay, cool. That's what's going on. So here we go. Remember, the research question is, was black people here in America before 1492? Does he answer it?
Eugenicists argued that racial and genetic purity resulted in a more stable society. All right, so now we know exactly what these individuals were working with, right? When they was classifying so-called Indians as colored and saying that they was mixed blood. Now understand this, right? There's also some trickery to this, right? The point of what they claim he was trying to do, they were saying that he was pretty much like trying to keep the European blood pure. And anybody who had Negro blood in them, they would classify them as white. I mean, they would classify them as Negro. The same thing, vice versa. So when they say the mix, they had Negro blood, they meaning that the Indians were actually Negroes, and the Europeans, some of the Europeans mixed, or we mixed with them.
That shit don't say that nowhere in this article. Everything that he just said, it does not. What it does say, right here it says, asserting that Virginian Indians were in fact mixed-blooded Negroes. That's it. The Virginian Indians were mixed-blooded Negroes. So there was an Indian population, and then there was a Negro population, and that they mixed. So we need to reclassify the mixed-blooded Indians as just as colored, or Indians as colored. So he that's it. This gives you the whole argument on how Indians got labeled colored because they could not be white, and they were not Negro. This simple, dumb stuff, man. Does he answer the question? Let's just go ahead.
So, that's been a point of contention this whole time with these classifications, and these classifications is done on purpose. So with that, I'm gonna get into what I need to get in. That was actually I was just reading that just to connect the dots with everything from these different classifications and these different terminology. But now we can get into it, okay? All right. Once again, I say that with emphasis, right? America was a Negro continent, right? So, just to start it off, we got the term nigger right here, right?
A minute and a half.
Yo, I'm gonna need like 10 more minutes, man. I mean, not a coincidence could present whatever he want to present. You can pull your whole library out if you want. But let me just continue this right here. Let me just get you said how many minutes I got, AP?
A minute and 14 seconds or 10 seconds.
All right. So the term nigger or Negro in the so-called Oxford Dictionary.
Listen, I think these rounds was 10 minutes or whatever the case may be, 8-minute rounds. We are 7 minutes into this fucking shit. And looks what he does at the end of the 7 minutes. He has 1 minute left and he begins to try to define Negro. Not the word black, Negro. Y'all, he ain't even trying to define black. He trying to define the fucking word Negro, nigger. What are we doing? What are we doing? Big O's Virginia. 7 minutes into the fucking debate, and he never defines black, but he chooses to define nigger. Mother, how the fuck did he beat you? Oh, because you was on their playing turf.
Just to start it off, we got the term nigger right here, right?
A minute and a half.
Mind you, the motherfucker ran the clock back, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Yo, I'm gonna need like 10 more minutes, man. I mean, not a coincidence could present whatever he want to present. You can pull your whole library out if you want. But let me just continue this right here. Let me just get you said how many minutes I got, AP?
A minute and 14 seconds or 10 seconds.
All right. So the term nigger or Negro in the so-called Oxford Dictionary is saying a dark-skinned person of any origins. In early U.S. use, usually with reference to American Indians. Now, do they call American Indians niggas today? But with the classifications that we got from your boy right there, Walter Plecker, who was part of the Eugenics Society, right? We can understand these.
We had the classifications before Walter Plecker. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the. Okay, let me tell you why we had these classifications, right? Right? The fucking word Negro in Spanish and Latin denotes what? Black. When the Portuguese come into West Africa, what the fuck you think they were using the word black to denote? What do you think they were using, the Arab was using to denote? They were using different culture, not dealing with skin tone, but dealing with culture. The Badani meant white, more like them. The Sudani meant black. They were denoting, right? They were distinguishing distinguishing clear separation. They were distinguishing for without a shadow of a doubt that these motherfuckers below the Sudan, them was where the niggas is at. But he still does not define the word black.
Different classifications, right? So just for the individuals that's just coming to the table and just trying to understand some of this, right? These is like, just earlier, lessons pertaining to this typical topic of us being an American, who the Americans are. Right. So once again, America, a native of America, originally applied to the Aborigines or copper colored races, right?
Did he show that shit? Did he? He didn't define nothing. The debate is not about American. The debate about was black people in America before 1492. Even in what he's showing right now, American, a noun, native of America, originally applied to Aboriginals or copper color races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendant of the Europeans born in America. That last part is some bullshit. The first part of that is the fact part. It's a noun, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper color races found here by the Europeans. He never but this ain't even got nothing to do with the argument, because this doesn't say black people in America before 1492. So he never establishes a definition of who is these black people. He gave you American and he gave you nigger. He didn't give you no black. And his time is up. But watch what happened.
So you go ahead. Go back to the census right here.
3 seconds. 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Come on, bro.
Time.
How many rounds do we got, bro? I can't work like that. I need more time than this.
This nigga making excuses.
Well, listen, we can. Y'all agreed to these times. So listen, I'm willing to give y'all a 3 minute. I'm willing to give you another 2 minute additional time, and I do the same thing for not a coincidence. I want to bring both of y'all on.
Give him 2 minutes. He sound like he's struggling. Give him 2 minutes.
I'm struggling. Shit, I'm just getting started, nigga. Shit.
All right, so we're gonna give you another two minutes.
I wouldn't have gave him shit. I wouldn't have gave him nothing. Why I'm gonna give him something? Oh, listen. See, this is how I know Anada C was smoking and laughing while listening to this dude first round. Because he was generous. Hey, give him 2 more minutes, man. He seemed like he's struggling anyway. He seemed like he's struggling. So give him 2 more minutes. What he present ain't gonna help him any damn way. Just give him 2 more minutes. Come on, man. Don't get this motherfucker nothing, not a C.
But you have a 30-second grace. Okay, not that's for both of y'all rounds. Okay, not coincident. DJ Cuddy, you got that? We're gonna give another 2 with a 30-second grace.
All right, to go back into it. All right, so we got the 1860 census, the instructions to the U.S. Marshals. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna go to schedule number 1, free inhabitants. Then we go down here to Indians. Once again, say Indians not taxed are not to be enumerated. The family of Indians who have renounced their tribal rule and are under state or territory laws exercise rights of citizens. So they would classify these citizens as what? And they are to be enumerated. In all such cases, I write IND opposite their name in column 6 under the heading colored. So once again, we're getting more reference that they put in these classifications on our people, right? So when we deal with the word copper color, we're dealing with numerous different brown shades. We're dealing with burnished, chestnut, copper, rustic, rust, tan, burnished, metallic brown, reddish tan, right? These are some of the images of the shades that our people come in, right? So these are all what we would call copper color, right? So going beyond that,
how do you establish that there was Negroes in America before 1492? If not a coincidence, just gave you 2 more minutes to define who the black people are and then to demonstrate who the black people are. And you're showing us some fucking old ass pennies.
right? Knowing now that they classify Indians as colored, right? We revisit the NAACP. And then visiting the NAACP.
Oh, holy shit. So let's establish this. When was the NAACP formulated? When? When was it formed? February 12th, 1909. February 12th, 1909 is the birth of the NAACP. How the fuck does that help you answer? Was black people in America before 1492?
Observing the colored people, because all of these people are referenced as colored, right? All of these people would have been referenced as colored, right? Obviously, among the crowds, you see some, you see some Europeans in the front right here, but the majority of colored people, what we term Negroes, right? These are the majority of the colored people, right? There go some more images of what we call the NAACP, right? Some more images of people who are classified as colored, right? Now, I don't know what an Indian look like. I mean, I don't know what people think an Indian look like, right? But these are all Indians right here. These are people who renounced their tribal rule and now are taking the term, taking the direction under the governor or the government and being governed. And they're reclassified from actually their nation that they originally was in, right? So we got more individuals from the NAACP, right? So, when you look through these images, right? We like, talk. Oh, shit. All right.
What a 45-second grace period.
What, I got 45
Still
more
trying
seconds.
to give him.
No, you had an extra 45
He's
besides.
still giving him time.
Damn, all right, man.
The time been up.
Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man.
Fuck out of here. I'm not about to play Not a Coincidences round. Because y'all can go on Not a Coincidences channel and support his channel, right? And watch this shit for yourselves. The rest of it by yourself. What I merely wanted to do was show an example of why these dudes are stupid. And why I don't care if they ever want to have a conversation with me. And why, let me put my face on the screen. I want my $100 from old boy. Hiding behind that username, which I know is you, Zab. I know that's you. I know you that dude. I want my $100. You made a bet, you lost the bet, pay up. Stop playing with me. You can send it to Not a Coincidence. Not a C, he send you the 100. He send you the 100, send me 50. Straight up. I told you not a C. You see now that you can really watch the replay for yourself and analyze what the fuck was going on, you can see what was going on. The dude got 8 minutes to present, then another 2 minutes and 45 seconds with a 30-second grace period. So another 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So all in all, he had almost 15 minutes to present against you, bro. 15 minutes. The debate is 25 minutes in. All right. Hold up. Let me put it on the screen. Let me show you. Let's do the math. Right. 25 for emotional trauma. Right. So look. He's stopping now, not a C. It's 25-26 into the bill.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
A1, mic check. Let's get it, man. What you doing?
Peace to the guys, man. Let me know how my mic sound.
Heads or tails, nigga.
So at the third, told you, damn near 15 minutes, man. Really was 12. Like 12 or some change. But damn near 15 minutes, bro. First round. Fucking pathetic, man. Pathetic. You gave him 2 minutes. The round was 8 minutes. Some kind of way he ends up presenting for almost 13 minutes. That's the hoodooism. They hoodooing us, man. But he never answered the research question, and he damn sure didn't do it in the second round. He arguing some whole other shit. He was so worried about eugenics and shit. It just goes to show you, like, they don't know how to fucking argue. Look, I was in the back with my feet up. Told you. He wasn't even caring what he was presenting. Go ahead, my nigga. You got 2 more minutes. Let me get this little nap in real quick before I gotta say something. You know what I'm saying? That's not a C. Not a C was like this. Hands behind his head and shit. Maybe the game was on. Was you debating this fool with the NBA playoffs was on or some shit? That was more interesting. You was over there like that. Ah, dang, he missed that shot. Dang, they just stole him. Dang, they up 12. Is it time for me to present yet? Oh, no, nah, he's still talking. Yeah. Dang. Damn. Hurry up, man. He almost done. Oh, you got to call a timeout. He over there talking to the TV. Not a coincidence, was not listening to the debate, y'all. He was watching the basketball game. The entire time that the Autonomous One, A1, was presenting information, not a C is on record for watching the basketball game. And it was the 4th quarter, and it was getting good. So he's like, yeah, give him 2 more minutes. The audacity of this dude. You should be ashamed of yourself for allowing that type of bull trap junk to transpire. But they don't know how to research, and they don't know how to qualify or organize their facts to present them. This is why they gish gallop and they talk in circles. They don't know how to present a plausible argument. They have no history. They have no existence. They have no data that would substantiate their existence here in the New World before 1492, which was the debate topic, and much more. Now, I know I just seen about 9 people just fall off. They mad. I know who those 9 people was. Them was the abos that was listening. Yeah, see, when you slow this shit down and point out they flaws, the niggas get up and they get out of the chat. They wasn't in the chat in the first place, but they were tuned in. They want to talk about my mustache, talk about Hitler. They want to say all of that stuff about me. And I don't care. You can say what you want to say about me. How I look. I bet y'all look damn good to your old lady. I bet you that. Ty Sam, You try to call me CIA because you pseudo as fuck. I bet your old lady wouldn't mind having this CIA agent. She like a man with a badge anyway. She gonna be disappointed because I ain't got no badge. So y'all can talk about how I look. I don't care. All they got is that, Callie. Claims. No evidence. Show me, bring me one person out of that, whether they claim to be an Indian or they claim to be Aboriginal. Bring me one person that has ever shown you evidence. There's one dude that is shown up on, well, yeah. One dude that is shown up on Garfield's platform that I will honor some respect for and entertain, because he even took a damn DNA test and he knows that he has native ancestry, but he's did all this other work. The only problem that I actually have with him is the fact that he thinks he's a fucking Moor. And but he argues against the Abos because they don't have the shit that he got, and he knows that. Now I know NAC, you not a coincidence. You're gonna say Turtle Gang is similar to that Moor dude, right? They similar, and they might be, but that dude showed and proved his DNA. Turtle Gang ain't doing that shit. Turtle Gang got excuses. Facts, Thomas. They old ladies do be checking in and watching. Let them be mad watching this shit, and they old ladies in the background trying to see what he hollering at, talking about my mustache and shit. Maybe I need to go over there on y'all channel more. Convert some of them women. Hell, I call myself India Red Calfani for a reason. He who brings back the lost shall lead. So if we can bring back the women, that's a more important fight for me, because we bring the women, we can teach the kids. We can get them out of the whole fictitious movement that they're currently in. And for the last time, the CIA is an intelligence agency, not a law enforcement agency like the FBI. And the CIA does not operate on U.S. soil. So why the fuck would I be doing live streams if I was there? I'd be somewhere overseas trying to conjure up some shit. Trying to figure out how to steal back African artifacts. Yeah, they be choosing. Shoot. King Abo right here. King Abo. Once upon a time was an Abo. Pseudo as hell. Then educated her ass right on up out of their pseudoisms. She ain't alone. There's some other motherfuckers too. Granted, she still deal with astrology. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't take that away from women and not get them nothing. Try to give them astronomy, but it's too much of a, you know what I mean? The subject matter is too thick. You can't get the kids if you smashing the mamas. Then you see Michael from The Wire. This boy crazy. That ain't what I'm insinuating, brother. Hey, no, on some real though. What you think happened in youth football, Sutek? When the women want their kids to get some playing time, what happened? When the mamas want their kids to get some playing time, what they do? Who they talking to? Yeah, you laughing. Yeah, what I thought. Yeah, come on now. Nada C said, play some of his first round when I brought up his sources. All right, okay, my bad. Yeah, let's do that. I'll do that for you because you asked. And I know you're getting high right now, so you need something to laugh at. Yeah, I got you.
And here we go.
So yeah, first of all, let's talk about this. The title is
hold on.
Told you, he getting high. Then look, they put not a C up here 10 minutes. Knuckle, listen now. NBA old head Juan Kutakulas. He gave not a C 10 minutes. Now, mind you, old boy had 12 and a half minutes, 12, almost 13 minutes. Not a C starts with 10 minutes. Where's his 30-second grace period and his 45-second grace period at? Where's all of that shit at? Where's it at? But watch what happened to not a C.
Hold on. Let me reset your time. Hold up. Let me reset your time. Here we go. I apologize to everybody. Here we go. Round 2. Fight.
It's still round 1 though.
Oh, it is round 1, isn't it? I'm tripping. Round 1. Fight.
Now not a C mute.
You're on mute, my not.
Name mute. Then he got some
time reset.
Then he got some technical difficulties because he's trying to share some audio. He keep forgetting StreamYard. You got to share that screen.
So A1, he must have forgot what the title of the debate was. So here goes the title. Was Black people in America before 1492? Are African Americans the descendants of those people? All he came out to do was appeal to emotion, and he starts off with Walter Plecker, right? So I don't know why he jumps to the 1920s when we're supposed to be talking about 1492. But the thing with Walter Plecker was he wasn't saying that these people wasn't Indians for no reason. He was saying they was Indians because they wasn't Indians because they had a strain of Negro blood. So even then, right there, he's making the distinction between Indian and Negro. So Negro and Indian can't be the same thing, like A1's trying to say. They're trying to hijack these words. Negro, Black, they're trying to say they're synonymous with Indian, and they're not. So he goes to the Oxford English Dictionary, and he skips all the way down to 3A. But he fails to start at the top, where it clearly tells you nigger. A dark skin, it tells you it comes from the word Negro, right? But he doesn't read the part where it tells you it's a dark-skinned person of sub-Saharan African origin, right? Then they go in here and tell you how they're using it of people, talking about people of African origin. We got Ethiops, where they're talking about Ethiopian. We got Niger. We got Sierra Leone. This is all 1577, 1584, 1608. So this is way before A1 try to pull something slick. It's 3A. So this is way before 3A. Now let's look at the years on 3A. All of this is in the 1800s, up to 1944, 1843, 1944. But when we look at the origin, it tells you 1577 is the earliest. So we all smart, we all understand, and that's way before the 1800s, like he tried to show us. Then he tried to pull this slick move here and go to the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, where they have the term American, right? Where they say copper color races. He's misusing this word. They're saying copper color, not colored people. Like in the 1828, they're talking about colored people. Let's find it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Right down here. Colored. Right? So they're talking about just the color, right? So when we come up here, this is the continuation of it. We go to 3, having a specious appearance, colored people, Black people, Africans or their descendants, mixed or unmixed. that one drop rule, you're colored if you descend from an African person. But he tried to make the colored thing because white people, they only see things as white and black, and that's what he's trying to do, see things as just white and black. So obviously we see that's not the definition of colored. Colored people has its own definition, and it's there. So when we get into 1492, when we get into 1492, right? And prior, we got the Hopewell Mound. From about 200 BC to 500 AD, the Ohio River Valley was a focal point of this prehistoric Hopewell culture. This is from Hopewell National Historical Park. Right? So in the Hopewell Mounds, they found some bodies. They found 34 individuals. And they was found in mounds 2, 4, 7, 25, and 26. Out of those people, ancient mitochondrial DNA was extracted from the teeth of those people. And it identified 4 of the 5 mitochondrial DNA haplogroups that is already in the Americas. That's A, B, C, D, and X. So we have another study where they're talking about the Mayans, pre-Hispanics, so pre-colonization, where they say, they talk about consequently, the principal aim of this study was to determine mitochondrial DNA variations in the prehistoric Mayan population and to assess the relationship of these individuals with contemporary Meso-Mayan and populations from Asia, Maurania, North and Central and South America. Our results revealed interactions and gene flow between populations in the different archaeological sites assessed in this study. The mtDNA haplogroup frequency in pre-Hispanic Maya populations is 63.53%, 34.21%, 5.26% for haplogroups A, C, and D in that order. And here we have James Chatters. He's an American archaeologist, paleontologist, and A1's favorite guy to quote. But A1 likes to cherry pick when he quotes from this guy. He never gives the full picture of what he says. He likes to say that James Chatters says that these people are, they're different from the Native Americans today. But what he doesn't tell you, what James Chatters says is about the 12,000-year-old Naya, who was a female found in what they call Hoyo Negro, which is a black hole in Mexico. He said, we tried a DNA extraction on the outside chance some fragments might remain. So Chatters, I was shocked when we actually got intact DNA. So from the analysis of that DNA, the analysis showed that Naya's mtDNA contains a haplogroup that occurs in modern Native Americans and is only found in the Americas. Scientists believe it evolved in Aboriginal. Right, so here we have Fatima Jackson. She's an American biologist and anthropologist. She's a professor at the biology of Howard University.
3 minutes.
So she's a professor at Howard University. And here's a paper that she co-wrote on, where she's talking about the African-American mitochondrial DNA often matched found in multiple African ethnic groups. Mind you, I showed you a study where they talk about A, B, C, D, and X are the haplogroups found in America. Well, we don't see none of those in the ones that are tested that are from, unless we're talking about people who are saying they're mixed with Indian ancestry on their mother's side, we don't see any of those haplogroups in them people. We always see African haplogroups. So in the study, samples of general African-American and specific Gullah Geechee HVS, which is hypervariable sequence, and haplotypes were compared with 2 databases of HVS haplotypes from sub-Saharan Africa, and the incident of it produced a perfect matches recorded for each sample. A sample of 78 African Americans who self-identified as Gullah Geechee was generated by laboratories from unrelated people sampled in coastal areas of South Carolina, and Georgia. All right. Let's see. How much time I got left?
A minute and a half.
So yeah, so like I said before, the debate was about was black people in America before 1492. A1 didn't get out the 1900s. I don't know if he forgot the debate topic or he just thinks he can come in here and just throw Walter Plecker's name around because it brings in an emotional response to people. Because in Virginia, and only in Virginia, he was able to tell some people who said they was Indian that they wasn't. So yeah, A1 needs to get on the topic because he's way off topic, and that's my time. I end it right there.
All right. Shout out to
Now, wasn't no begging for no more time. Wasn't no, hey, I need to get an extra something. None of that. He went through the 10 minutes straight. Whereas A1 got a whole another 2 minutes and some change. 3 minutes and some change. Because it went from 8 minutes to 10 minutes now. Which is very suspect. Very suspect. So look, man, I'm finna get out of here and mess with the dogs, man. Not a see will probably be live later. Make sure you go subscribe to Not a Coincidence's channel. It's on the screen right now. He's also in the chat. Click on his name in the chat. It'll take you directly to his channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the brother's platform and give some thumbs up to the videos. As you can see, numbers coming up a little bit, but it can do better. So he's fighting for the hearts and minds of our African American brothers and sisters. He's linking shit all the way back to the continent, and he follows a methodology that can be substantiated through evidence. So I appreciate everybody tapping in, tuning in the whole nine, having a good discussion. Please like, share, subscribe. 8 minutes is weird anyway, it's facts. Let's stay on topic. Let's keep on ringing heads. Shout out to Thomas, Oklahoma, and the others. Truth hurts. I know I ain't seen you in a while, bro. I know you're busy. You know, you get a chance to pop up. You know what I mean? Pop up. We'll be able to do something. Enjoy the first 45 minutes beyond. You know what I'm saying? I want to play Sutek the new KPRT intro, but I ain't gonna do that for y'all over here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ease us out real easily, man. Y'all know the MO. Spears are flying right, and pseudos are crying. All day, every day. Yes, sir.